Our goal in Eran is not merely to focus on the loneliness and the pain that come out in the call. We actually try to connect to the human on the other side of the line, to hear their story, their hopes, their dreams. A few weeks ago, I received a call from an old lady. She's a Holocaust survivor. She called us, her friends in Iran, because she was feeling lonely. It was nighttime. She really felt the emptiness in the house. This is the house where she used to live with her husband. She's been a widow for the past 17 years. She feels the four walls around her. She feels the empty bed. And she calls us to be with her at that time. She told me about her son, her daughter-in-law, her 3 grandchildren. She spends the weekends with them, but during the week she feels very lonely. She doesn't call them very often during the week because she doesn't want to be a burden. She doesn't want to come in the way. She told me how anxious she is for the weekend to come, when she would see her grandchildren and be able to share her stories with them and to hear their stories of the week. She also told me that she's been saving up a ring to give to her granddaughter. She seemed very anxious to give the ring to the granddaughter. It seems strange to me that someone feeling so lonely, so empty, would be able to give to others. So I asked her, where do you derive the power to give? She told me a story that really surprised me. It was decades and decades ago, back in Europe. She was a hungry child in the Holocaust, like many other children in the Holocaust. And one day, when it was really cold and she was very hungry, a young man gave up his loaf of bread for her. That gave her hope. It didn't just take care of the hunger, but it gave her hope for life. She made an oath that day that if she would be able to give, she would give to others. And this is what enables her to give to her grandchildren and also to give to the community. She thanked me for being there with her, for hearing her story. It reminded her of the man that gave her the loaf of bread, of how people give to people, of how she gives to her son and her grandchildren. It reminded her of the power that she has within her. And this is exactly what we do in Iran. We show the people the power that they have within.
I picked up the phone. On the line was a Russian woman. She was very anxious and talked very fast, blurring out sentences like, you can't continue with this life anymore. How can I go on with what's going on? I was alarmed. I asked her what happened, and she cried very, very out loud. It was like something she was going through, something terrible. She said, I have a new boss. She's terrorizing me. I can't live like this anymore. She said, I'm a kindergarten caregiver, and I've been working with kids for many, many years. I love doing this job, and I love the kids, and I've worked at this kindergarten for about 5 years. In the past 5 years, I've been working there, and it's been great. And now there's this new boss that came in, and she keeps terrorizing her and humiliating her and downgrading her, and she feels like it's a dead end. She doesn't know how to deal with it. She doesn't know if she should talk to anybody. She doesn't know if there's anything that she can do about it. And she went on crying, and you could see that she's very, very sad, and that this moment that she picked up the phone and called Eran was like a crucial moment for her. And she said, you don't understand, aside from the fact that I'm having trouble at work, I'm also new in Israel, and I'm having trouble with the language, and my economic status is terrible. I don't have enough money for my kids, and I'm very, very worried. I'm 47, I'm an immigrant, I don't know what to do. I can't find another job. I tried to give her some powers, tried to encourage her, tell her, well, you know the job, you know how to work good with these kids. We talked about a few minutes about how different ways that she can address this problem, and I could see that there was a transition in what she felt. She started out very, very depressed and crying and all stormed out, and then she kind of went into thinking about ways to deal with her problem and to try to improve her situation. And in the end, she told me, she sounded very relieved. She said, thank you for listening to me. It's so important that there's someone that listens. I don't always have somebody who listens to my trouble. I have 2 kids. I don't have my husband with me. And when someone listens, it means the world to me. I complimented her on her Hebrew and told her that even though she's been here for 5 years, she has great Hebrew. And she said, well, most of the time I talk in Russian, and it was a bit hard for me. I really tried for you to understand, and you did understand, but sometimes I have it hard with Hebrew. So I gave her the information of the Russian hotline and told her that whenever you feel a need, you can call that line and speak in your own language. She thanked me and said that she didn't know about this Russian hotline, and that it's great that this line exists for people that need to talk in Russian.
I know a lot of people support programs of the poor, programs of the elderly, programs of the disabled, which are all very important programs. But you have to consider always that people like that also have always an emotional side to their problem, to their disability, to their economic situation. And when you support something like this, you always have to support Eran as well, because Eran is the only organization that really completes the whole picture, that supports the person, the project, as they should be.